Hey guys, what's up? Give me a second till I set this up. Hi Mimi, how are you? Sanita auntie. Hello Ankur, how are you? Hi Sanita auntie.
Hi, how are you?
I'm around and we will be good to go. And I'm just
Wonderful.
setting
I'll I'm
chats
just
up.
adjusting. It will wait for the
One moment. How are you?
I'm good, I'm good. How are you, Achal?
Very well, very well. Nice. So there's a very dear friend of mine, Sangeeta auntie Mimi, who's on the chat. She's looking forward to hearing from you. I've been doing all my spiritual chats with her. Okay, we're all set. Hi, Dia, what's up? So, Sangeeta auntie, I'm going to introduce you first. Sangeeta Rajesh Gala. She's 57 years old, but basically, I have known her for I think what 3 to 4 years myself. She
Yes.
works with the Family Service Center at Kolaba, and she has herself fostered almost 15 to 16 kids uh, in this, and she does incredible work helping people and helping children to get foster families and also to help people adopt. And I'm very happy to know her. I'm very privileged to know her. I've done some close work with her. And welcome to Decoding Life with Anchal. Sangeeta auntie, I'm so glad you accepted my invitation.
Thank you so much for inviting, Achal. It's my pleasure.
My pleasure. So now, Sangeeta auntie, I do remember the first time we met through Inner Wheel. We had done this project for these children at the Family Service Center, and I
Yeah.
remember for fostering the most adorable little baby at the time, and we all wanted to take her home. At that time, we all wanted to take her home, and I remember clearly putting up a post on Facebook, a picture with her, and saying the Family Service Center does this incredible work, and people should reach out to them to donate to them, help them out. And I think in the span of time, by the time I reached from Kolaba to Wadala at my home, I think I became the national call center for adoption because people had seen that post and shared that post. And then I was getting calls from people who, my friend wants, my sister's been trying, my so and so has been trying. I was flooded and inundated with calls at the time. So I know that adoption in India is a very difficult process. uh, we'll come to adoption a little later, but let's talk about fostering because there's very little awareness and knowledge about fostering. Please explain to us what is fostering and how does this process work in India?
Okay. So basically, initial stage of my life, I was in USA. So I
Right.
was very aware of the foster system there.
Correct.
And I have 3 children, but we wanted to adopt a fourth as adopted child, but
Right.
circumstances were such we couldn't, and we moved back to India, and I got tied up with other
Right.
responsibilities. So the second best option on our mind was definitely to foster a baby, if not to adopt.
Adopt. Yes.
So I was looking into foster system in India,
Okay.
which initially, but come across. Uh,
Yeah.
huh. So I did come across Family Services Center and of course IAPA. These are two centers which uh, do the foster system themselves.
Okay.
And um, I just happened to do a science uh, project with the Cuff Parade slums.
Okay.
And while returning back, I vaguely remembered that, somewhere Kolaba I had read. So, I just started searching for it at that minute, and I ended up in their office. And I was greeted by Avanti More there, and she was very kind to explain everything. And I came back home with a great smile on my face because, that adoption part didn't work out. And I was so glad that foster system can work in India too.
So
So
how does the foster system work in India?
so what happens is when I came back home, I talked to my family, we were ready. And I called up center and I informed that we are interested. So they come over and they do a home study. Definitely, they want to ensure that the environment is right for the child and the family is good and all.
Right.
Very little paperwork to be done, and
Okay.
that's it. I was registered with them, and
Right.
that is how after a month or so, I got a call from them that there is a 2-month-old baby girl. Would you like to foster? And we were overwhelmed, and that is
Okay.
how it started.
So is there a minimum or a maximum age of the children who can be fostered?
Nothing like that.
Like,
Mostly children coming to center are newborns,
okay.
but sometimes because the government, like the Kara system, allows the mother to keep the child till 2 months, or even after, uh, surrendering the child also, uh, they can come back and get the
Okay.
child, which really happens.
Okay.
So uh, that's it. There's no age limit or anything. It can
Okay.
be any age.
And is there a time limit as to how long you are allowed to keep a foster child with you?
Yeah. So basically, in layman's language, of course, foster system means your temporary parents to the
Correct.
child.
Correct.
Now, already the adoption part is done as soon as 2 months is over and
Okay.
the child is legally free. So
Right.
that's when the center starts working on it and submits the paperwork and all to Kara, and the child is registered there. And from that time, it can take up to few months. It all depends case to case.
Okay.
So child is already there for adoption, and we are given a call when the process has been done, like the parents have been selected by Kara and the center has been informed, and that is when you have to surrender the baby. Now, in case you have an emergency, let's say, and you're
Yeah.
not able to continue, it's still all right, because you have to just inform pre-hand to the center and they will take care of it.
So tell me something, Auntie, that is it like all the 14 and 15 children that you have fostered, what is the maximum duration they've been with you at any point?
um, uh, I think 5 6 months 6 months.
So basically, what you're trying to say is that how many ever children there are in the in the foster system, there are enough number for adoption, so that the need to foster doesn't go beyond the 5 6 months limit. Is that my understanding correct of mine? That they will go back into the adoption system eventually in a short period of time.
Yeah. As soon as after 2 months, they are legally free, so they are already for adoption.
Legal
Now,
paperwork.
yeah,
Okay.
the paperwork takes time, and sometimes a little bit time is taken if the right parents are not, they found the right parents. So it can vary, and sometimes certain cases children come also after a few months, if it's an abandoned child or if it's some other issues are there or orphaned suddenly. So little
Right.
older children also can come. It's not always newborn, but majority times it's newborn.
Right. One technical question which I forgot, which I should have started with, that these centers from where you can actually take children for fostering. What are these centers? Where are they? How many of them in India? And how simple and easy is it to go and take a child for fostering?
As I said, it's very simple. You have to register yourself. There are 2 centers in Maharashtra. One is
Okay.
Family Services Center, and another one is IAPA, which is in West Matunga. They
Okay.
are connected with Kara. They
Okay.
are
Got it.
registered. Yeah.
Right. Right.
So these are the 2 centers where the foster system works. It's like non-institutional system
Correct.
for childcare.
Understood. Understood. Okay, I'm going to quickly take this one question. And I know we also had this major discussion when we had done the project with you. Is it emotionally difficult to release foster kids to adopting parents? I'm sure it has been very difficult.
Very difficult, very difficult.
Yeah.
And first baby was the most difficult, because you're just not prepared. You just don't know how it's going to go. It never gets easier. You keep telling yourself that you get stronger as
Correct.
babies come and go. It never gets easier. Obviously,
Correct.
because you're bringing up like your own child, day and night, the child is with you. And
Correct.
I don't prefer keeping nannies, even though my family would love to have, help
Right.
around. But I believe in that it's better to take care of the child 24/7. That is how the overall growth is possible for the child. And these are the cumulative years where you really need. So it's extremely difficult. But then again, uh, you cannot be selfish here. See,
Right.
because initially when the first baby left, you feel that, you emotionally broken down. But then, you have to talk to yourself. And then I did that, and I realized that, what, if I want to make difference in these babies' lives, I have to be strong and
Yeah.
I cannot be selfish. And that is how, one after the other, I have been doing. And Family Services Center has been very kind. And also, I have registered with them in case there is any emergency at the center. They can always, even if I'm fostering one child, they can always come. This home
Right.
is open 24/7 for them.
Right. On
So,
this note, just going to say that Avanti ji from the Family Service Center has logged in, and also the Family Service Center has logged in. Thank you very much for joining in. And they're sharing the information with us, which says director.fscmumbai gmail@gmail.com. If anyone wants to foster babies, they can. It's very nice of them to join our chat.
and even
Thank
Indira from FSC has joined
you.
in, and they are here to help out with any questions which would be
Mimi is
related to.
older babies, or is it older children also? But like you already answered that there are also older children that are that are up for fostering. The other thing that I wanted to ask you was that very often, and I'm sure you're plagued by this question, foster parents, if they get attached to the children, might want to adopt the same child. Um, is that possible? Is there a way to
Mm.
stop the system and
No,
tell your
it's
foster?
not possible. No,
Right,
it's not. You need to get in the queue the way anybody else would. Very, very rarely it has happened that if the child is with special needs and there is no hope for adoption,
right,
and there a couple of cases have happened where the foster parents have adopted and the
right.
child is with them. But otherwise, in normal cases, no. Even if my own children, which every child comes at home, they want to adopt,
Yes, yes, of
which
course.
I tell them that you have to get in line the way everybody else does.
Right, right, right. No, I'm sure because बच्चों के साथ attachment तो हो ही जाती है. How
Very much,
hard it
very
is
much.
to detach yourself emotionally from
Very difficult it
1 minute.
is.
It's
Yes. And when especially, you're putting away the things, you're totally broken down. Even I have a Labrador dog who gets very attached to these babies.
right,
He
right.
is sulking for 2 days. I mean,
Correct.
it's that difficult for everyone.
How sweet. How sweet. Tell me, Auntie, that and I still some very often think of that little baby that we had met, and I know it's many years, and I still vision her lovely, cute little face.
Mhm.
Tell me, you also work with a lot of families and parents in the area there in Kolaba. What are the reasons that you feel that people leave their children at the centers, and what are the kind of parents? Is it only usually from the slum areas around?
Mhm.
What experience? Do they also just, as we see it in the movies, just come and leave them and go away, or do they actually come and make sure
Mhm.
someone's looking out for them?
Yeah.
What angle of this whole thing?
So there are different babies who come to the center, in the sense that there can be abandoned babies also when
Right.
they get call from, let's say, police or CWC,
Acha.
Child Welfare Center, and the Child Welfare Center then decides which center will take care of the
Right.
child,
Right.
and this is how it works. But otherwise, these children are uh, these babies are voluntarily they're not only abandoned babies,
Okay.
they are surrendered also. Now the
Okay.
reasons can be multiple.
Okay.
It could be sometimes unwed mother, or their one sex of a child over again and again, and they don't want, or
Right.
some economic but it's not that the children are only from the slums. No, it's from all the classes,
Really.
from the society, all the classes, and that I can ensure you that's the truth.
Right. And is there some kind of a legal binding on parents for children when they leave them? Is there any necessary documentation that they have to do? there a paper trail for these children that, for example, a couple of years down the line, if these kids want to know who their biological parents are, what is the privacy clause on the law for all of this?
So during the process, CWC is involved, and they are the ones who decide whether this child will be, even when the parent or parents are surrendering this child,
Yeah.
CWC is involved in that. In
Right.
front of the members, it's done there.
Right.
And and later they decide also whether they can be legally free for adoption.
Right. Okay, and so now coming a little bit more towards adoption, Auntie. We know about the CARA, which is there is literally only just one governing body in this country from where you can adopt a child. There is no under the table deals. There are no private centers that you can go to. There is nothing. You have to follow procedure and protocol. Please tell us about CARA and what their system is. So it's for adoption of what is CARA? What is the full form of CARA?
CARA, basically, this is for the adoption, it's a body for adoption. So it's an online procedure. You need to register yourself online. There are different documents needed. And once they approve these documents, there are a list of centers given, which are authorized centers. You have to pick one of the center like FSC or IAPA, and where they will come for home study. So that home study report will then the home study report is being submitted to the to CARA, and then the child is in the queue.
Okay, so also coming back to my minimal experience with this whole process was the day when we did that project, and when I got so many calls, and I remember putting a lot of my friends in touch with you, and if I'm not mistaken, a couple of them even managed to resolve their paperwork, all thanks to your help. But what I really want to understand is, there Avanti ma'am is telling us Central Adoption Research Resources Authority. Thank you. But I also want to, and I know that the only thing that my inbox was flooded with is that it's a frustrating experience, and that they have been on the waiting list for the longest time, and they have not managed to get a child for adoption. And I don't understand this, because this is India. There are so many abandoned children. Our population is immense. There are so many children that need adoption. Why is it that there are parents who want to adopt and are not able to adopt? And why is there so much procedure and paperwork?
Basically, the procedure, there are a lot of wrong myths going around, because I have helped around 200 families, 200 plus families all over the world for registering for adoption. Help in the sense guiding them, counseling them. Sometimes I have to counsel the woman is ready, but the father is not. I counsel there. I counsel sometimes the in-laws. But this is the way the procedure goes. But it's not that tedious, because I know of families where less than 3 weeks with the home study, they are in the queue. Now, what happens if you are taking time to collect your documents? Like yesterday, I had a call and the person said, we want to, but unfortunately, we don't have a marriage certificate.
Right.
So that delays it. So I have couples who have registered and done with the home study in 3 weeks, and they're already in the queue. Now the wait is little longer, where with FSC we are working on it to reach to CARA and request them to try and reduce the wait, because the first baby which had come home for fostering, she had gone to a parent in 11 months. So for some reason there are things, but now looking at Smriti Irani taking it under her wings, we are seeing a lot of positive changes, and slowly and steadily, I'm sure the waiting period will be also cut down. Also, the adoption procedure right now, we would want to put across to CARA that I mean FSC and myself, that in COVID times, let's not have adoption procedures for different states. Because you're supposed to pick 3 states. So if I have registered, I pick Gujarat. Right now in COVID times, it's difficult to travel or do anything. So I wish, and we really wish that they would cut down that for at least if not for later, but temporary, not have adoption procedures going across states and finish it off in the states.
Sorry to cut you, Auntie, and I'm going to come down to the semantics of this. But here again, see, somebody is written here. My friend from a very well-to-do family, and they're in queue since 1 year. They want to get a child. Now imagine that. How? Why is that the case? Why is
Why
our
is registered a year ago?
yeah, they're waiting
Yeah,
since
but
1.
yeah, but the waiting period is about 2 years right now, and that is where we are trying to find out why. What is the reason? Again, I initially used to get calls from only couples who couldn't conceive babies. So there were only these kind of couples who were approaching.
Right.
Now, in last 2 years, I have started getting calls from couples who already have a biological child and do not
Right.
want to make another child, but to adopt. And
Right.
now lately, last 1 year, I'm seeing where young generation couples not want to make babies, but go for only adoption and make difference in child life.
Correct.
So, awareness has spread. That is why the demand is more, obviously. But I'm sure somewhere or the other, this can be cut down shorter.
Right.
And we are hoping that will happen.
Right. Now you mentioned 3 states. So now actually tell us what is the process? Like what are the specifications? What is it that you can ask for and not ask for? How much into details can you go? Age groups, caste, nationality, which state? What are you allowed to ask for?
So you are allowed to pick 3 states.
Okay.
You can get a call from any of these states. You
Yes.
can pick the sex of the baby. You can
Okay.
pick the age group also. You can
Okay.
keep it as an open category also.
Okay.
That's absolutely right. All right. Also, with 3 states, if you want to keep an open category for all over India, also you can.
Okay.
But
Wonderful.
then there are very few parents who do that because again, northeastern babies are also included, and some families wouldn't prefer, so.
Yeah, so the caste system is very strong. So I'm sure that parents also want to be very selective. Is there a caste category also? Religion?
No,
You,
absolutely not. Absolutely. And I think that would be absolutely wrong.
so there's no basis on religion that you can pick.
No.
Okay.
I do get calls. I do get calls saying that, we are this and we want this. And I have to sit and explain that the way you bring up the child's going to become that. But,
Absolutely.
absolutely there is no underlined religion or caste mentioned.
Okay.
That would be.
Group you can mention, gender you can mention, and the states you can mention. Is there any, and religion you can't. So is there any other specification that is that you can ask for? Again, it's India and it's a very silly question for me to ask, but people like, meko gora bacha chahiye, meko aisa chahiye, meko vaisa chahiye. Is that also?
No, that doesn't work. But of course, Kara does, they do try to be little selective, if not always, but sometimes
Right.
they do that. But, again, it all, whenever you are in the queue now, they will show you a child. If you are not happy, then they can show you another child.
Going to be
So,
my next question. So how many choices do you generally have?
see, Kara does keep change, has made many changes. Initially, they were showing 3 babies at a time.
At a
Now
time,
they're
okay.
at a time. Now they're showing 1 baby. But
Okay.
if that baby is not selected, if I'm not wrong, again, if Kara has made changes, I wouldn't be sure. I wouldn't know unless Avanti or Indira knows about that. But otherwise, the baby has been. If you don't select, then after 3 months, you get to. They will show you another baby. You have to wait 3 months to be sure.
Wait for the. That also probably is delaying the process for a lot of people without them realizing that maybe they're turning down babies and being very specific.
That has happened. Yeah, that has many times I have noticed. And when they show you the baby, the whole medical record is with it. Even the
Yeah.
simplest or the littlest issues, if a child has, it's
Yeah.
mentioned there. So it's
Mentioned.
nothing hidden or nothing to worry about or be surprised later.
Right.
Like
Is
I had fostered one child who had milk allergies,
okay.
and his process took a little longer because we were waiting for someone to
Right.
be
So,
open to it.
is there some kind of a governing body that at least for the initial, I don't know if permanently, but at least for an initial time, uh, is there a governing body that comes and actually checks in homes whether these foster children and adopted children are being treated well, not being treated well?
Yes,
How are they?
yes.
How are, is that also a concern?
Yes, yes, it is. It is when you're fostering, once a week a flying visit is being made by the center. They can say, come themselves or anybody they will send across, and
That is
that flying visit, they will spend quite a bit of time at home, see the interaction, see the growth of the child and everything. And
very nice.
once the child is adopted, twice a year till the child is 15 years old, social services people do come and give flying visits and ensure the child is safe.
Okay. And so till the child is 15, you're saying?
Right. If I'm not
Okay.
wrong, yeah.
I know it's a very bizarre question. Have you ever had a situation where parents have either fostered to chalo is a small period, adopted children, and then suddenly after some time said, "Arey, mujhe, I don't want this child." Like, I know this is India and all sorts of bizarre things happen, but has that ever happened?
Not that I've ever heard of that.
Wonderful.
I never come across that. Only thing that people do ask that our process is too long and all, we might find some alternative this thing. So we also, we would like the government to arrest these cases also. And, not to go illegally. And when parents call up and they mention vaguely also, not giving details, I do explain to them that it's going to be a very difficult process if you do something illegally. If they find out the child has not been legally adopted, they can take the child away and put him to orphanage. So please do not do anything like that.
By legally, you mean, say, for example, hypothetically, if I want a child, then maybe I'll just go to another family or say, some underprivileged family that's not able to support a child and tell them, let me take your child, and they'll just hand it over to me. And that's what you mean by illegally without any paper?
Maybe one of the way, or approaching the gynecologist, and
Ah,
that could be another way also. But these things need to be arrested and stopped, because the only one legal way in our country to go for adoption, and that's by
Kara,
through Kara, and
by Kara.
nothing. Yeah.
Okay. And in your experience, I don't know if you maybe if the family service center will be able to answer this for me. What about single parents? Because I know a lot of single people in this country are now, and of course, a lot of our celebrities have led the way in this by adopting children, and it's a huge motivation for all the others that.
Yeah,
But
we do have, we've had, I think at least FSC, I remember 4 to 5 single parents have approached. In fact, the 13th baby I had fostered during the COVID time, he was with me for 8 months. He
okay,
was to be adopted, and then the lockdown happened and he had to be with me for 8 months. And he has been adopted by a single
wonderful.
parent, father, and he's doing very well, and all the paperwork and everything is taken care the same way it's done. So it's a refreshing different.
And by through Kara, it's not difficult and it's not impossible to be a single mother or a single father and to
Yes, yes, because I just had this experience for a single father, and mothers I have seen, because there is a get together FSC organizes once a year, where uh, couples who want to adopt, who have already adopted with their children, they come, and we play games, we do fun things and interact and share experiences. And I have seen single mothers also coming in, so
very nice.
it's really
What about live-in relationships? What about couples that are not officially married? Is it very difficult for them to get a child? Is there a different legal system for them?
I wouldn't know that,
I
but because that probably Indira or Avanti can answer.
Yeah, I really want to ask, because both these questions, one is this question of parents who are not legally married, so live-in couples, and in that same breath, what about gay couples? Because I know it's not legally defined in this country, gay marriage is not legal, but what about people living in a live-in relationship, and what about gay couples that want to adopt? How difficult is it for them to get children? Or then do they have to hide their entire relationship and just go as single parents and adopt? I don't know if Avanti ma'am will be able to answer that. In the meantime, Auntie, I want to actually leave the forum open for all our, I didn't even realize it's been half an hour. And if any of our viewers want to ask any questions about adoption, about fostering, okay, here's the answer. A single lady can adopt a boy or a girl child, but a single man can adopt only a boy child. Okay, that's fair enough. Um, okay. So what I was saying is that if you can, if any of our viewers have any questions for Sangeeta Auntie, please feel free to ask. We also have the Family Service Center with us online. They will be able to answer your questions. And on that note,
they can email also to them, and you can pass my number, and they can even give me
yes,
a call, and I can take care of that.
IGTV on our page on Decoding Life with Aanchal. So if anyone has wanted to see this and not been able to see this, I'm going to leave this chat on the page. I'm going to leave the contact details on the page. And anyone who needs help for fostering and adopting, I know from personal experience that there's nobody better than the Family Service Center and Sangeeta Auntie, because they do an incredible job. I've seen them hands-on. I've seen how loving they are with the children, and I see how well they keep their center and how kind and loving they are to the children. And it would also be a very good platform to please encourage parents, single people out there to please foster children, because it's a good thing to do. It's a very kind thing to do. And these children who have been abandoned need a home. And if you can even give them a home for a few months, it would be very, very nice. Yes, sharing the contact details, and I don't seem to have my answer from Family Service Center. Sangeeta Auntie, is there anything that you feel you've left out and you'd like to share?
Yes. Continuing to what you just said, I would like to tell everyone that if even a family fosters one baby in their lifetime,
Yes.
there would be no children in the orphanages. So requesting, please give it a try. I can, guarantee you it will be a wonderful experience. People say that these children are so lucky when they come home, they get this home and love. But
Yes.
it's the other way around. They are the one who are spreading joy and happiness. Trust
Yes.
me, everyone must try this out once, and let's all do something to give back to the society.
Yeah.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
I know I wanted to walk away with a baby that day, and I knew
I know.
friends joke with this. They
Let's
said,
go. I know you.
asked her she's going to let the house with one child, and she will have to do it. So
I remember. Yes.
Much, Auntie. I know you are very, very busy, and you've really very kind to take this time out and have this chat.
Thank you for having me.
I wish you all the best, because you're doing such a lot of noble work, and it's very, very nice of you. And to all the parents out there who are looking for children, I really wish that you find your child soon and that you have happy lives. And thank you so much for doing this chat. Thank you guys for logging into Decoding Life with Aanchal. And I'll see you soon.
Thank
Bye-bye.
you. Bye. God bless you all. Bye bye.
Thank you, Auntie.